In my last VidAMs episode, I went on a weird tangent about the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is a really weird coincidence, considering that today I'm watching a TV adaptation of a beloved sci-fi series that spans multiple installments and stars Mark Hamill. A TV adaptation that often gets overlooked and waved off as non-canon, despite it having an equally star-studded cast of incredibly talented actors to its source material. I swear to God, I don't plan these things. Wing Commander is a series I've never had much interest in. Not that there's anything wrong with it, dogfighting in space just isn't for me. Unless you slap furries all over it. And even that explanation doesn't really hold water when you consider the Kilrathi.
The hairless apes now flail about knowing that they are beaten. They have failed their race utterly.
I guess I just fobbed it off because my first exposure to the series came from the terrible 1999 film adaptation starring Fred and Shaggy, which bafflingly sidelined Mark Hamill himself to an uncredited voiceover role, either because he'd already gotten too old, or because George Lucas's legal team was staring down at them in the same way that a hungry lion stares down a limping gazelle. Anyways, today we're watching 1996's Wing Commander Academy. Loosely based off of the 1993 spin-off game of the same name, this is ultimately a prequel to the mainline Wing Commander PC games, so for a newbie like me, this could be a good introduction. Let's find out after a brief photosensitive epilepsy warning. Photosensitive epilepsy warning. Episode 1 is called Red and Blue, and throws us right into the thick of it.
Sure, Maverick.
Am I getting old, or is this opening dogfight inaudibly loud? These are some of the greatest actors of all time. I wouldn't mind hearing them.
What happened? Hey, Maverick! I was about to prove who the best pilot is when that simulator shut down.
Oh yeah, the best pilot's the one who completes his mission and comes back alive.
For those of you who wanted to see Luke Skywalker getting bullied by Biff Tannen, congratulations! Your oddly specific crossover fanfiction has now been realized.
I thought I'd have a look at you cadets while the Tiger's Claw is being refitted. I'd like to see you in action, in space, not in a simulator.
Fittingly, Maverick and Maniac end up commanding opposing teams in this low-stakes sparring match, a red team and a blue team. That shadowy figure shouldn't be here. This room is just for authorized personnel. Even worse, this guy is a double agent working with the Kilrathi, the angry space warrior kitty cats.
No, they'll be too busy with their own problems to worry about me. I've reprogrammed the fire control computers on the fighters to full strength. While they think they're having their mock combat, we'll be blowing each other to bits.
And so the deadly mock battle begins. But before taking off, Maniac challenges Maverick to a 1v1 with no items on Final Destination. As such, the two of them decide to split off from their respective crews once they enter space.
I'm meeting him for a one-on-one inside the nebula. In the process, we'll show the location of the Red Wing.
God damn, the dialogue in this show is only just loud enough for me to hear them if I really focus on them. Which is a problem only for me, because I'm scripting right now. Well, actually I'm recording.
JK, I'm editing.
That was really well animated, god damn. Thankfully, there are no casualties and the commander is able to order everyone back home. But the rat bastard who orchestrated this uses the chaos to escape unnoticed. What's worse, Maverick and Maniac are unable to hear the call and continue taking pot shots at each other, prompting Archer to chase after them and tell them to fucking stop.
No more computer simulators. You're just lucky my cannons aren't on full strength.
The spy reaches the Kilrathi ship, handing over vital Academy data to them. And then he begins justifying his betrayal by whining about how the Academy crushed his dreams of being a pilot.
One bad psych evaluation and it's all for nothing! Unstable. Ah! What a laugh!
Yes, I see.
What are you doing? We had a deal! A deal!
A man without honor has no reason to live.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I went into this cartoon thinking that they wouldn't have the stones to kill people off, and that might have been one of the most stone-cold badass subversions of that expectation. Well done.
Maverick, I'm picking up a distress call from Archer.
I want the Terran ejection pod found and destroyed.
With our heroes now singled out, surrounded by Kilrathi, and fully aware that their weapon systems are in fact online, Maverick and Maniac team up, aiming their sights squarely at their enemies. With the fleet being annihilated before it can send any data to the Kilrathi Prince, the two ace pilots are excused for their off-the-books fight with a light warning.
You're not my problem anymore.
The brass hats at Fleet Headquarters decided you cadets need hands-on training. You'll be under my command aboard the Tiger's Claw.
Commander Jeffrey, played by Malcolm McDowell by the way, takes the three cadets under his wing, which they are all quite stoked about.
Tiger's Claw! The best carrier in the fleet!
Jeffrey.
He then shares a few private grievances with Fleet Command, hinting at the series' greater overall story.
I won't fight the war their way, so they're going to keep me out of combat. Apparently, the Kilrathi aren't my only enemies.
Don't take it out on the cadets, Jeffrey. It's not their fault.
And rounding out the episode, one of the pilots from the mock battle is packing her bags and quitting, the weight of almost taking another pilot's life proving too much for her to bear.
That wasn't your fault.
The way I felt, it would have been the same against a Kilrathi pilot. They're the enemy, but they're living beings, too.
Now, it's likely that she wasn't told about what happened after she left, but that is a wildly insensitive thing to say to someone who just wiped out an entire fleet of Kilrathi in self-defense. And understandably, it leaves Maverick with quite a lot to think about. So that's the opening of Wing Commander Academy. For my initial thoughts, this is a really decent show, more than I thought it would be, that is held back solely by its sound mixing. With subtitles on, this is all a moot point, but if dogfights are the beating heart of your series, the radio comms need to be coherent. Especially if the whooshing and shooting sounds are then drowned out by 80s synth rock instrumentals. This TV show is the reason that video games have audio sliders. Jumping forward a few, we have Episode 4, Word of Honor, which begins with a squad of human marines fending off a Kilrathi attack, from both above and below. Whew, good thing for you this show isn't R-rated, or that would have been the goriest death imaginable.
Pause! Get off there!
Ultimately, this skirmish is revealed to be a war flashback of Cadet Paz, or to use his call sign, Grunts, who lets his mind wander during a mission briefing, mainly because the mission in question is just a routine planetary check for Kilrathi ships.
Maybe someday I'll take out a Kilrathi troop transport. 1,000 furballs with one torpedo. Better to take out Prince Thrakhath's flagship. Get him, and maybe the Kilrathi will make peace.
You don't make peace with rabid animals. You hunt them down and destroy them. Every last one.
Huh. That's a harrowing take. Really bashing the genocide drum there, aren't you, Grunt? We see more of his past, learning that he's prone to bouts of paralysis, the actual cause of his discharge from the Marines, and a secret that he holds dear so that he can continue serving.
The sun. They're coming out of the sun. Break right, break right. Stay with me, Grunt. Can't lose him this way.
Being skilled enough to fend off this enemy ambush, but not so skilled as to do so without taking a few hits, Maverick crash lands on a water planet with Grunt's escape pod in tow.
I got one arm back! Yoo-hoo! I hope it's not as clumsy as mine.
One of the Kilrathi who ambushed them escaped to the very same spot on the very same planet. Big coincidence, and tries hijacking their busted ship in order to escape. Maverick goes to confront this assailant.
We Kilrathi are physically superior!
Saving this Kilrathi, who goes by the call sign Vengeance, Maverick and Grunt blast away a horde of predatory space slugs, with the former suggesting a truce in order to survive. Vengeance is all for this, while Grunt very much isn't.
The Kilrathi didn't take prisoners on Repleta. Hey, we're not Kilrathi!
If Kilrathi ships come first, I will not tell them you are here. I give you my word of honor.
From this point on, I figured I knew exactly how the rest of this episode was going to play out. I've seen a lot of 90s animated shows. I thought this would be a morality story where Grunt learns to overcome his prejudices and come to an understanding that the Kilrathi are at least honourable and capable of good on an individual level.
Give me back my laser. If this must be my end, let me face it like a Kilrathi. A weapon in my hand, roaring my last breath in the face of my enemy.
Don't do it, Maverick! You can't trust the Kilrathi!
I gave you my word of honor!
But then, Vengeance, whose pride is wounded by all the mercy he's been shown, doubles down and pulls a King Deltarune, backstabbing the humans, forsaking his honor, dragging his rescue party into his petty grudge, and ultimately getting most of them killed when the human rescue party turns up. And even in his final moments, when Maverick literally has him cornered, Vengeance just refuses to embrace humility, choosing instead to go out on his own gruesome terms.
Kilrathi is never afraid! You hear me? We are never afraid!
The end of this episode ends on a very bleak note, which would have been genuinely concerning if this show didn't have a linear narrative and therefore room for development. Maverick's resolve to see the good in everyone, even the Kilrathi, is utterly shaken. Meanwhile, Grunt remains confident that the only good Kilrathi is a dead one. I do love how this show poses questions of morality and dehumanization, all through the lens of this interstellar war. And with the 7th episode simply being named Expendable, yeah, you better believe I found myself actively seeking said themes.
Kilrathi jump buoys are equipped with automated defenses. Just sit back and watch the show, Maverick. Maybe you'll learn something.
Probably too late for you to learn anything, Maniac.
First thing I'll note is that the audio balancing here is slightly better than it was in episode 1, which was my only major gripe, so props on that one. For this episode, Maverick and Payback are sent into an unstable pulsar node, or a wormhole for those of you who don't speak fluent technobabble.
Some of the cadets have been complaining.
Cadets always complain, Doctor. It's their secondary mission.
They seem to think you're showing undue favoritism towards Maverick.
They do, huh? Well, tell them I'm not doing Maverick any favors sending him on this mission.
Once they break through the wormhole, Maverick and Payback spot a bunch of Kilrathi ships. And since they are just on a recon mission, their orders dictate that they pull a 180 and go right back. However, Payback, much like Vengeance, funnily enough, ignores her mission and goes for a self-indulgent killing spree.
We're under orders, Payback. Do not engage. I repeat, do not engage.
Try and stop me.
Her rampage almost gets her caught and taken prisoner, until Maverick swoops in to rescue her. And even with his ace piloting, their escape is a pretty rocky one.
Report to me aboard the Aegon Roth Sivar.
Ah, Prince Thrakarth, enemy to both humans and epileptics across the universe.
He was a great warrior, the glory of the Halas clan. You must hate the Terrans for taking his life.
My prince, with all due respect, your hair is glitching. It is very distracting. And it's a damn shame too, as this exchange where the prince describes his personal hatred for humanity for having slain his close friend and brother is really solid. Just as solid as Payback's well-deserved bollocking.
You cost us a broadsword, you endangered the mission, sorry doesn't cut it. You know, I would have expected something like that from a glory-seeking hot dog like Maniac, but not you.
Are you gonna tell Tolwyn that I disobeyed orders?
I have to.
He'll wash me out of the academy.
I know.
With their life support having been damaged by the earlier scuffle, Maverick and Payback find themselves struggling to survive the 3-hour journey through the wormhole. And as they reach the exit, they find no sign of their peers, snuffing out their last hope, along with their last breaths.
If we power up, the Kilrathi will detect us when they come through. We'll lose the element of surprise.
Well, what about the pilots out there? Payback or Maverick?
A pilot is expendable. We all are.
This is some cold, pragmatic, ruthless shit, and I love it. It says something when even cartoonish bully Maniac has to fight the urge to rescue his longtime rival. And while the successful ambush of the Kilrathi fighters is successful, things are far less hopeful for Maverick.
Now, son, you're a Blair. You've got no right to let go of a life it took so many to create. Just take my hand, Christopher.
Holy shit, this really is just Star Fox. You know, it took me way too long, but I think I do like Wing Commander, actually.
Lack of oxygen must have got to me. First I imagined I saw my dad, then I thought Maniac rescued me.
Yeah, fat chance. Next you'll be dreaming you're a better pilot than me.
When the commander does interrogate the two on what happened, even under threat of expulsion if he is lied to, Maverick, likely aware of the fact that he was ordered to be left for dead, and understandably pretty fucking pissed about that, comes up with a cover story to keep Payback from being expelled.
Is that really what happened? You were intercepted by the Kilrathi?
I'm a Blair, sir. The Blairs never lie.
Well, I certainly did find those heavy themes I wanted. Episode 10 is named On Both Your Houses, and begins with the main trio pursuing a Kilrathi fighter. And Archer's wavering resolve to finish off said pilot despite him being lined up in her sights earns her a lot of scrutiny from her peers.
What happened back there? I thought you had him locked.
It must have been some kind of a glitch. Missile just didn't launch.
Yeah, right.
The Kilrathi escapes onto a lush tropical planet known as Greenhouse, and when the gang get there, they meet a shifty team of human scientists, one of whom welcomes and hosts the pilots, while her colleague is sent off to find the Kilrathi himself.
What kind of research are you doing way out here, Doctor?
Pharmaceutical. With the diversity of life on this planet, there are probably millions of new medicines to be found.
I envy you, Doctor. It must be very satisfying saving lives.
We do what we can.
I'm wagering that they're either spies, or they're planning to engage in unethical experimentation on the Kilrathi POW. Whichever it is, I'm sure that they'll be... hello there.
We're taking a swim. It's part of my morning routine to stay in shape.
Apparently, it works.
fighting a war is a terrible way to grow up. If only there were another way to defeat the Kilrathi.
Okay, definitely leaning towards my latter guess. I mean, it'd be all the more fitting given the tension caused by Archer's hesitation.
You didn't fire. You want to tell me why?
Don't you ever hesitate? Don't you ever think about what it means when a target disappears from your screen? What it means to the pilot? The Kilrathi pilot?
It means I'm better than he is.
We can cover more ground if we split up.
As well as the discussion between Maverick and lead scientist Bronwyn, where they directly address the main question posed by this show.
Do you really think we can make peace with him?
I think there's good and evil in everyone.
Okay, yeah, I'm almost certain that I've called it. There we go!
You want peace with the Kilrathi? This medicine could be the bridge that leads to it. A gift of hope from the Confederation to the Kilrathi.
Whoa. I believe you want to end this war as much as I do. He won't be harmed.
You have my word as a doctor.
Now, this is where I thought things would peak, with the pilots catching the scientists being less than kind to their captives and having to put the kibosh on the whole operation. And as a big fan of Billy Shakespeare, I'm really mad at myself for not taking note of this episode's title and putting 2 and 2 together.
A plague on both your houses!
Bronwyn is caught releasing the Kilrathi pilot by Archer, who reaches my original conclusion, that she is in fact a Kilrathi spy. But in actuality, no, she's far, far worse. She's actually a genocidal war criminal!
This war is biological, a competition between two species, and it won't be over until only one survives.
Then why did you let the Kilrathi go?
I've infected him with a plague virus we discovered on this planet. It's deadly to the Kilrathi. That pilot will spread the virus through his fleet till it reaches Kilra itself. And then the war will be over.
After I pulled my jaw off the goddamn floor, stunned that this show actually went there, I found myself just glued to the edge of my seat. And it all leads to this brilliantly dark ending.
Dr. Singh only let you go so you'd carry the plague back to Kilra.
Do you think I am foolish enough to believe you, Terran? Your species does not know how to tell the truth.
You're just a victim of this war. Eject while you still can. Engine's failing. No! I can't let you go home.
Archer is forced to kill one desperate, fleeing pilot in order to save an incalculable number of Kilrathi innocents who would be wiped out by this horrific act of biological warfare. And this time, she can't hesitate. But to really punctuate this gut punch, the episode ends with this.
It must be very satisfying. Saving lives.
That was fucking masterful. 10 out of 10. The final episode, not by design, as Wing Commander is another member of the exclusive Cancelled After 13 Episodes club, is Glory of Sivar.
This time we're striking directly at Prince Thrakath.
The cadets are tasked with distracting the Kilrathi during one of their grand religious ceremonies, while a ground unit of Marines are sent down to rescue the Delosians, an alien race who've been enslaved and forced to build temples for said ceremony.
We all have great confidence in Commodore Tolwyn's ability as a commander, but I'm beginning to wonder what sort of a man he is. Is he the kind of man we should follow? I really don't know.
Maverick and Grunt are sent in with a stolen Kilrathi ship, but are quickly weeded out as saucy imposters and shot down, leaving both of them in the beating heart of enemy territory.
Looks like they found the ship.
Let's hope they don't find us.
In response, the General then changes his plan, waiting for Maverick and Grunt to ignite a slave uprising so that he can ambush the distracted Kilrathi prince. But Archer, aware of the general's general, I can't believe I wrote that, aware of the general's disregard for innocent lives, sees right through him. This is what he intended from the start.
You set them up.
We haven't heard from them in 72 hours. We must assume they've been captured.
The Delosians. Maverick and Grunt. Is there anyone you wouldn't sacrifice just to win?
War forces us to make hard choices, Cadet Bowman. I thought you'd learned that.
Unwitting pawns, Maverick and Grunt stealth their way into the living quarters of the Delosians to rile them up. And in a cruel, dramatic irony, they cite the non-existent Marines as their only hope of survival.
My name is Vidkin. I'm leader of this barracks. The Kilrathi said we were to be set free.
No. There's only one way to win your freedom. In a few hours, Confederation Marines will land on Dolos. But we need your help. We need you to rise up against the Kilrathi and fight alongside us.
Vidkin, not fully trusting these two complete randos, leads them both into a trap, getting the two men captured and prepared for the first sacrifice. And in a bizarre twist, this double cross is what ultimately saves Maverick, Grunt, and the Delosians. Exactly as the general planned, they were taken prisoner and forced to talk about the Marines that don't exist. And this misdirect motivates the prince to plant most of his forces on the ground, leaving him more vulnerable from an aerial attack from the cadets.
I can hold it together.
Yes, man. You sacrifice us all to win.
Oh, dang. Well, F's in chat for this show-exclusive character. Shame I never landed on any of his episodes. Turning the tide with their powerful aerial assault, the prince is fooled, disgraced, and forced to flee. The carrier goes down in flames after Maverick and Grunt make for their escape pods, and we end with a few choice words from the general.
This is a fitting time to award the gold wings of the Cadet Wing Commander to the outstanding pilot of your class, Cadet Blair. For your bravery, initiative, and ability, I award you the rank of Cadet Wing Commander.
I can't accept them, Commodore. Not from you. You lied to us. You risked the lives of a whole planet, and for what? To get Thrakath? Was it worth what you were willing to pay? The pilots who deserve these are out there. They've earned their wings.
Damn, that is a fucking hard note to end on. Shit, I've got to go play the games now. So that was Wing Commander Academy. As someone who went in expecting to be ultimately disinterested, that was solid. Also, holy shit, there were so many more flashing screens than what I showed you. Do not watch this show if you or anyone in your household has epilepsy. I'm not even joking. Huh. I was expecting to see more of that horrible glitching effect from my last few episodes. Oh, cool. I guess I'm finally free of that now. Thanks for watching, everyone, especially to Anonymous, Dan Brown, Fitzwilliam Ramsbottom, Neve Calderwood, Pixel Pusher, Ravi Poodle, Shameboy, Thomas Walker, and Toon Pirates.